Hey Vuzot, it's Dani. Welcome back to my channel. So today I figured, since it's June already, good lord, why don't we do a mid-year check-in? I want to share about my year so far, what decks I've been using, what I've been up to, the books I've read, things like that. Just a little check-in, just a little hangout. So grab you a coffee. I got my little coffee in my cafe right here. Yeah, we're just gonna sit and chit chat about the year thus far and talk about the stuff I've been using so far this year. So let's start with decks. So I feel like I've kept it super simple this year. And that's probably because I've been using more systems than I have been like multiple decks. I don't know, it's kind of strange. Like, I think it's because I haven't just been focused a lot on tarot, and then I'll use a whole bunch of tarot throughout the year. So by now I would have had like 5 little favorites that I've been using. But like, I haven't been doing that this year. I have been super chill with the decks that I've been using because I've been using different systems. So this has traveled with me all year long thus far. It has stayed on my desk because it's easy. I grab it and go. It's got 3 decks in here. So let's talk about these 3 because they've come with me everywhere this year and they've stayed on my desk. And it's Mystic Masters. I know. But this is what's been traveling with me. I've just been vibing with it. You know what I mean? I think because it's like easy to connect with for me, obviously. And so I've just been reaching for it consistently this year. I've been traveling with it, like I said. So it's just been hanging out. I'm like, everything has just been so simple this year. I think because, again, I've been playing with these. So I have my Lenormand, which I have been just knee-deep in Lenormand this year. This is my... I think it's just called the Easy Lenormand. It came in a pack with a really great book a long, long time ago. It did have white borders that I took off pretty badly before I knew how to properly edge a deck. Oh, can you even see? It just wants to look at my face. Look at this. You know how many times I have re-edged this thing? That's why it's like 35 different colors. Look at that. And it's not very even, but I don't care. I love it so much. This is mine. You know what I'm saying? It's mine. And in the same tone, I've been using obviously this Lenormand, but after doing Glitter and Gators, doing the Grand Tableau, which I'll try to remember to link down below that episode, where Lisa and I played with the Lenormand Grand Tableau. She was over there using these Lenormand tiles, and I was like, I am trying to get all of these cards on my desk. And you were over there just like making this beautiful tableau in this readable space. I'm like, okay, I have to have some. So I made some. I did a little video on that too. I'll try to remember to link it down below. But I've been playing with my Lenormand tiles. Oh, now it's not going to want to look at it. There we go. So I've been toting these around in my little bag. And playing around with Lenormand that way. So these are super fun. And they're just a more accessible way to play with huge spreads. So that was awesome. When I'm doing small stuff, I tote around my regular Lenormand. And then I have my Kipper. This is the Siren Song Kipper. It comes with a Kipper and a Lenormand. But I keep this Kipper in my little bag. And I play around with that one quite often. So those have been the decks that kind of traveled with me, been on my desk since the beginning of the year, and are just like my go-to decks. But then I also have another tarot that I have been, this has been the past couple weeks, I have just been steeped in. I've just been obsessing over, and it's an older one, and I'm sorry it is out of print. I'm sorry. But that's the Augenblick Tarot. And I go through phases with this deck where, like, I'll use it and then I'll just, like, not. You know what I mean? Just these huge spanses of time where I just won't go towards it. But for some reason right now, I don't know. I love the space in this deck. It's just been scrumptious. I used it with my members. To do their readings this month, and it was just so much fun. I love taking out this deck and just playing around with it. Like I said, I'll go through phases where I don't touch it at all, but then I just get absolutely obsessed with the energy of it. I know they're like far away, but I like seeing those people kind of small against this big landscape. It just like, I don't know, it really opens everything up. It brings a different feel to the tarot to me, I think, and that's why I find it so intriguing. It's like I rediscover it all the time. I find something new, you know? So I've been really obsessing over that. And those are kind of the two tarots that I've been really, well, this one, because it's been so recent, has been on my mind. And then my Mystic Masters, that's kind of what I've really been messing with. I'll pull out something here or there, which is just like, you know, everyday kind of stuff. But like truly working with, those two are the top on my list. As far as Oracle is concerned, y'all are going to get tired of hearing about this deck. That's the Cape of Sybil. I do have a bit of a walkthrough with me and Lisa, which I'll try to link down below, but you have to be logged in to watch it because of the some of the imagery. YouTube is being weird right now. I'm sure you guys have heard. So we're trying to like really be careful with what we're showing because it's flagging it, and it's causing some chaos. But anyway, so if you are logged in and are over 18, you can watch it on my channel. We do a full flip through, we talk about it and go through it, whatever. But I have just been, I've just been obsessed with this so much. So I'll kind of show you now. The great part about this one is that all of the keywords are on the back and they all have the same image, which is awesome because I can just use them like this, you know? But the collages on the front are so primal and raw and real. I cannot get enough of this energy. I cannot get enough. Out of all my oracles, this one this year so far has just been the top of my list. It's feral. So good. Empire. I just find it so powerful. It is so powerful. Not gonna show these. There's so much depth to them. In person, it's these deep, dark colors. I know with the lighting, it's sometimes hard to see that, but these were the most impactful cards for me this year. Absolutely. Like, just had a whole impact on my practice. So, like, obviously the standout, obviously. So the last deck is my petite fille. It's just playing cards. I've been playing with these all year. I was able to finish them up, finish drawing everything up, and put them on make playing cards at the beginning of the year. And so they have made their way into my routine, obviously, so far this year. So my old ones have just been kind of sitting off to the side. I'm sorry, you've been replaced. But yeah, just my regular playing cards. Those are the main decks that have just been top users, I guess, of this year so far. So what have I been up to? So I did, like I said earlier, go to StarCon this year, the tarot conference, which was amazing. I met some awesome people. Got to listen to Lisa speak. Got to meet my BFF in person after 7 years. It was spectacular. Got to meet Don Michelle after 4 or 5 years. It was amazing. I had the best time. Did that. I got to go to a few Mardi Gras balls this year. Went to took a cruise for Mardi Gras break out to Mexico, which was divine as always. It's my favorite place. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so much fun. Anyway, got to do that so far this year. I have been honestly crafting. Well, before crafting, because then that'll just spiral into what's next. I've also been doing my Cajun French. I started up with this group that is local around here doing Cajun French, learning Cajun French, speaking it together. I got all my little notes coming together, doing that, learning French, kind of steeping myself in my culture once again, talking to people, things like that. It's been super fun. That's been a huge chunk of this year because I started that in January. So I've been doing that for 6 months, been learning some good vocabulary and hearing some stuff I haven't heard since I was a little girl. It's been amazing. It's been absolutely amazing. I've been thoroughly enjoying that. But yeah, then I've been a craft goblin this year. That's really what I've been. I just got kind of sucked into this part of my practice right now where I'm just focused on play and creativity and just making things. So obviously I've been making a whole bunch of journals this year. I have a few here to show you guys like my actual working journals, like what I've been working in so far this year. So I've been making a ton of that. I've also been making other crafts. Like I did, this is super fun. So if you have an eraser, it's an old eraser, you can make stamps out of it. So I made a thistle, because I found this old eraser, but then I went get me some more of the stuff. It's like, what is it? The lino cut or whatever. I've made stamps before. I've made a couple before. I'm not an expert by any means. I've done like 4 of them, like, you know what I mean? But they're really fun to do. So I've been doing that. I've been playing around with that. I'm gonna make some more this year because I'm like, you know what? I need this kind of stamp. I'm just gonna make it. I'm just gonna make it because it's fun for me. And then I've been just, playing around. This is just an old wood thing, and I just made this little guy. I love this. It's like this Mod Podge dimensional or like multi-dimensional whatever. So it kind of acts like a little resin without having to do all the brouhaha, you know what I mean? You just kind of pour it in there and let it dry. So that's always fun. So I've been doing a bunch of little funky things like that, you know what I mean? And normally and I still do, I have like 3 or 4 other sketchbooks that are always actively going. I never really, like, I feel like I never really finished one, but I did. I finished one this year, this little one that I had. It's literally, I did like it was like an Inktober in this one, all at the beginning, I think. Let me see. Because it's all like prompts. It had to have been Inktober. Yeah. I started this one in 2021. Do you see what I mean? Like, it took me 5 years to finish this thing. I started this Inktober 2021. Yeah. So, because I just kind of draw wherever. So, yeah, like, I started with that. That was, like, the prompt. But then, like, a lot of it is just, you know, it's just trash, honestly. It's just me messing around. So, but yeah, I actually finished it up this year. But this is where I, like, a lot of times I just try to work stuff out. So that was me working out my stamp. That's kind of what I do. I just play around, just whatever I needed. I also have, I have deck ideas in here. I thought I had, I have some teeth. I have some teeth in there. So I'll, like, go back and paint. Oh, there it is. So I'll, like, work stuff out. So this is what I have painted on my main door. So, like, I'll just kind of work stuff out. That's all this mainly was, is just, like, whatever. But I finished one. That small. It took me that long. Because I'm always in everything else. What else do we have here? So, I also have this book. So I've been working in this for 2 years? Something like that. But this one is like for longevity, right? So this is one that I made myself. It's got all kinds of like pretty little tabs. Can you see? It always wants to look at my face. Stop looking at my face. So it's got some little tabs and stuff that I made in here. But what this is like all the front part is like a bunch of plants. So like lemon balm. Oh, that's another thing I've been doing. Obviously. That's another thing I've been doing is gardening. You guys, I've been gardening. I have a whole bunch of stuff going right now. Obviously, I have my pretty flowers and stuff. But I have my actual like food garden going. I have some tomatoes. I have peppers and blackberries growing. I have cucumbers and muscadines, turnips, watermelon, and then a whole bunch of herbs. I have like some rosemary. My lemon balm is going absolutely nuts, and that's what, you know, I was talking about here. Peppermint and strawberry mint, basil, potatoes, green beans, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff growing. So I have a lot of notes, stuff that you do, like, you know, herbs and what they're good for. I have some folklore in here, treatments and stuff like that. And then just like stuff that I just kind of stick in there. So this kind of stays in my kitchen. It's for gardening and kitchen stuff. There's, in this part I have all the like recipes, things like that. So I have like my recipes jotted down in here. And just kind of any growing notes, sticky notes that I need to like put this in there. So like, sometimes how to plant, when to plant, how to harvest, what to look for. So this is just my plants, herbs, kitchen. It's my kitchen witchery book, and this stays in my kitchen. So this one is kind of made for the long term. I'm not looking to fill this up with whatever. It's just like when I have something to do, I'll sit down and I'll play in it. Sometimes like I said, I'll write stuff down and then I just plop a sticky note in there. And I'll go back and I'll I'll do something with it. I'll make it pretty, or I won't. It'll just stay like that, because y'all know that's how I roll. So I have this one that I'm still working in, and that'll probably be for the long term. What else? So I have my main working journal, my little Tijon right there. This is the one that I made and I have been working in. This is my main, like, kind of Book of Shadows, grimoire, art stuff, all that. So I have been working in this one quite a bit this year. I think I'm like almost halfway through the second signature. Thus far, I got all kinds of stuff in here. Bugs and le petit souris, mice, and art stuff. I have a recipe and just all kinds of fun things going on in here. I even have my kipper stuff here. So yeah, oh look, I'm telling you, I've been obsessed with that Cave of Sybil. But yeah, I have been playing around with some Hieronymus Bosch. But yeah, I have been working in this one quite a bit, just doing all kinds of stuff, readings and spell work and money bowls and sigil work, and then just playing around, jotting down ideas. It's got just about everything in here. So this is my main working notebook. I'm a little more than, well, no, I'm almost halfway. I'm almost halfway done. So that's what I've been doing in this one this year. Then we have one that you guys will probably recognize. This little journal. So this is my Fill Your Journal. So we have just been doing, not only with you guys, but with my members, just a bunch of fun stuff, trying out different pages, no real rhyme or reason, just like, this is a way to fill your page. This is something that you can do. This is our creativity spell that we did. And so we have been working on this so far this year. So this one is obviously one that's constantly in and out. And I'm having a really good time because it's giving me so many ideas to, like, throw into other journals, or like, hey, we should try doing this. Like, I have a whole list. I have a whole list of stuff just to play around and try with. So I can't wait to continue this and to finish that little journal. Okay, so this last one is purely for play. So a lot of times I'll have like a random little notebook that I just like make random stuff in, just stuff that I feel like doing. But this year I decided to take the leap, if you will. So ever since I was really young, I like hoarded all my little Harry Potter stuff. And I've lost so much of it throughout the years. And like, I had already gathered this big bag full of Harry Potter ephemera, from things that I've bought or things that people have sent me, all kinds of stuff. And I was like, stop it. Use this stuff before you lose it again. Just purely for play. So I had this old moleskin notebook that I had got. It's pretty old. It's been through a lot. I used most of the pages. So I took the book apart. I grabbed some of the pages that I didn't use so I could put back in and then keep for whatever projects, just this like regular notebook paper. And so I ripped it apart and I made myself my own little notebook out of some really cool pages that I got. Like, I have some Quibbler in here, actual Harry Potter book pages. You can see right here. I also have like the Marauders map and stuff from the Daily Prophet. I have the Leaky Cauldron menu in here, which is really cool. I had a friend send me. So I have that sewn in here. Now, I didn't do a very good job with the stitching. It's in there. It's not coming out. It's not coming out. But it's not done well. Because, you see, I have this thing that's like, I got this, right? Where I'm like, I remember how to do this stitch. I didn't. But it's fine. I'm not redoing it. It's done. This is mine. I don't care. So, listen, it's a little janky, but the pages are not coming out and it's not going anywhere, so whatever. It's mine. Anyway, so this is how this has gone so far this year. So I have just literally been playing. Anything that I'm seeing when I go through my ephemera that even reminds me of Harry Potter, I am putting it aside. I'm using all the little ephemera that I've gathered throughout the years. And I am just playing in here. I'm just playing. Just doing collages. I'll make things. I'll write things. And just put stuff together. And just have a good time. Come on. I'm not going to be able to open it. Ah! Here we go. Some animals of the Black Lake. Like, I'm taking my time. I am just, I don't know, I'm just playing. Making myself happy. Posting stuff in here and just zoning out and having a good time. I have just been thoroughly enjoying my journaling this year and creating art and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And if you guys are interested in seeing me do some of these things or some of the stuff that I'm doing in my own journals or the journals that I'm making or binding or whatever, sometimes I throw those on my TikTok, which is a whole mess because I just use it for shits and giggles. I just play around on there. But I'm trying to remember to film some of that and throw that on there. Because I do get asked sometimes, like, how do you do this? Or can you show more of that? So I just kind of throw them on there. So if you're interested, you can look at that. And then, of course, my membership, we're doing extra journaling stuff. But it's just been such a predominant thing in my life since I was really young. And I got out of it for so long. And then coming back in and just really being steeped in it this year. Like, I've just been, I don't know, it's just where I am artistically right now. So that's just kind of what I talk about and what I do. So that's kind of where it's at. Anyway, on to books. Okay, so this will be the last part. I did read 15 books. I'm going to go through them a little bit, nothing too deep. But I'll try again to have all that stuff listed and all the books listed down below if you're interested. But let's talk some books now. Okay, so the first book I read this year was so good. Like, gave it a 5-star. Like, it was so good. This is The Midnight Library. This is by Matt Haig. I think that's how you say it. I do have my notes up here. I actually wrote myself notes as I went along to help future Dani out. And it was amazing, and I'm going to keep on doing that. So I will refer to some of my notes, just to kind of refresh me of anything, or tell you what I wrote about it. So this book was really interesting. I went in, I had heard about it. I'd seen a lot of people talk about it, but I didn't really know a whole lot going into it. But it seemed like it was pretty good. It was an interesting concept, and I ended up really loving it. I didn't really know where it was going. And so going into it, kind of knowing that there was a bit of hype around it, but not really knowing where it was a really interesting experience for this book, because this is about a girl who's kind of like done with everything. Like, she's done. She's like, I'm tapping out. I'm over it. And she decides this, and then she wakes up in this strange library that have books all over that kind of explore the possibilities of her life. What would have happened, what could have happened, what might happen. And it was so interesting. It was so interesting. It spoke to me on a really deep level. Especially if you've ever come off of like just a really rough time. I felt like this book really spoke to me on a really deep level and was just like, man, such a good impact. Such a good story. So that is The Midnight Library. That one was really, really good. from there, again, I tend to have like clusters of like genres that I kind of go into. So we explored different realities, and this one we explored different realities as well. This is Dark Matter. This is by Blake Crouch. I believe there's a miniseries movie, something, I don't know. Haven't seen it. You'll notice that I don't watch, I swear I don't watch anything. I haven't watched it, but I read the book. So this was really cool. I've read a lot of this concept. This is about a guy who has a really good life, maybe some regrets, some what ifs, but is living pretty good with his wife and his kid. Then he gets kidnapped. And we get thrown into this world of like quantum physics, different, I don't know if, how would I describe them? I can't even remember. Like, I don't know if they're different realities, different timelines, different dimensions. We're in a different space. And I've read a bunch of books like that. Like The Magicians had that in there. Hollow Places had that in there. Like there's been a lot of this done. This was quite interesting because this was more of a sci-fi thing, and I don't usually go super far into sci-fi. But it was a very good, like, mystery story. Like, you're following stuff and, you know, you're getting jumbled up with different people from different dimensions. And, like, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. He's desperately trying to kind of find his way back after being kidnapped and having to go through all this kind of crazy stuff. It ended interestingly. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say this was an awesome book, but I will say this. I do want to see what they've done with this visually, because I think I would like it better as a film or a movie than I did the book. I liked it. It was a great story, but I definitely think it would be better as like an action film of some sort, you know? So this is one I would want to see. I'll say that. So then I went to Cozy Mysteries again. I've wanted to finish reading the books that were out in the Shady Hollow series with Vera Fox. These are by Juno Black. So I read Twilight Falls. I did enjoy Twilight Falls. This was an otter and a beaver fell in love. Their family was not having it. There was a tragedy at Twilight Falls, at this waterfall. The whole town witnessed. We're trying to see what happened. Was there a murder? Where's the body? It was really good. It was really good. Vera Fox, obviously the main girl, is on the case, and she figures it all out. It was a really cute story. I really liked this one. But then I read Summer's End. I didn't like that one as much. Like that out of all the series, this is the one I didn't care for. I mean, I'm still going to read everything else. If she comes out with more, I will be reading them. I just love the little town that she's created. But in Summer's End, Vera, the fox, and her friend Lenore, the crow, or Raven, that owns the bookstore or whatever, they're chaperoning a little high school or kids trip to Summer's End, which has this like archaeological dig. Well, of course, there's been a murder, obviously. And so she's in this other town, and there are other characters that come into play, and they got to figure out what's happening and who would benefit, and, you know, where the corruption is. It was still a great story. But we were in Summer's End, and I don't know, I just didn't care for the atmosphere as much. I don't know why. I kind of wanted to be back in Shady Hollow and not in Summer's End. And I know that's kind of strange. Like, we're expanding this world. We've gone to other places before. But, like, I don't know. This one just wasn't as enjoyable. But it was still a good read. Not mad at it. Not mad at it. Then I read The Watchers. So this is by A.M. Shine. I think there was a movie that just came out. Maybe 2024. I haven't seen it yet. But this one I do want to see. The book was okay. This is another one that I feel like I might like it better as a movie than as a book. Maybe. I don't know. I guess it's all about the atmosphere. So a girl gets stranded outside these woods. She goes in. She kind of gets lost, finds this house. There are people in there. There's something weird going on. Nighttime comes and the Watchers come out. And so they're like caught in here. They have to have light to stay safe kind of vibes. There's this like Irish folkloric undertone to this, which was really, really cool. What did I say here? I know I had said something and I was like, oh, I have to mention that. Oh, okay. So I said in my little notes that I figured out or had an idea what we were dealing with fairly early on, but it didn't play out as I expected. So there's also that. Another one that was pretty good, I put a 3-star on this one. But honestly, I think it's one that I'd rather watch. It was good, but it wasn't fantastic, you know. Then I read The Spite House. This one, I wrote that it was kind of like The Others meets Skeleton Key. I don't know if that gives y'all any kind of idea if y'all watch movies. But this was... It's like I remember it being interesting. Because we had a lot of stuff that we were trying to figure out and unravel as we went along. It was this dad and these 2 girls that were obviously on the run. But, like, why? How? You know what I mean? Because they also had, like, a mother that they left behind. And, like, I don't know. We just couldn't figure it out. What was happening, right? So we're seeing this family dynamic right at the beginning. They're on hard times. Then they find this... thing in the newspaper. This woman is trying to get someone to come and live in this house. She wants proof of the afterlife. So she just needs somebody to stay in this house and like mark down if they've experienced anything or if they're experiencing anything in the house. So it seems like a pretty good gig, good money, not a lot of whole lot of questions being asked. But then we start to try and figure out what's going on in the house versus what's going on with this family versus what's going on with the owner. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I thought it was done pretty well. This is a recommendation from one of the book talkers that I watch. I watch a lot of book talk. Oh, no. It was on BookTube. This was on YouTube, I think. I watch a lot of people on YouTube talking about, you know, horror books and this, that, and the other, or, you know, kind of like the horror genre and stuff around there. I watch a lot of that on YouTube, and so this was one of the recommendations from them, and I really enjoyed it. I did really enjoy it. I can't speak. Jeez. This next book, I'm gonna apologize right now. I'm about to hype the shit out of this book. I love this book so much, but I think I like it more than is probably necessary. This book, my favorite of the whole year so far. Probably my favorite book I've read in a while. Because it surprised the hell out of me. It took me to places that I didn't think I was going to go. And there were even parts that left me, like, shook. I loved this book. It's so ridiculous. This is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Okay. I have so much love for this book because I hated it at first. I get into it. It's a girl and her brother. Their parents have died. They're left with the house and they're bickering. You know, you see that grief. You see those grudges being held. You see all of this at the beginning. And I was like, I don't know if I'm like in the space for a book like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wasn't sure. So I had started reading it, and then I was like, I put it away for a while. I put it down. And I was doing something menial one day, washing the dishes, doing the laundry, and I was like, you know what? Let me download the audiobook and just put it on. I wasn't reading anything at the time. I wasn't doing anything. I was like, let me just try. I still had the book, but I was like, let me just put it on right now and just see if I can get into it, find where I'm at. So I did that. And then the squirrels came. Squirrels, you say? Yes. The taxidermied squirrels in the nativity scene setting, as one has in their home. Those squirrels somehow came to life and started attacking this woman while trying to take a nap at her dead mother's house. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? It had me. It had me there. I loved every moment from that point forward. So their mom was a very eclectic artist. She made puppets, taxidermied squirrels, and other things. She just had a house full of stuff. And this house seems incredibly haunted. Throughout this, we go through family secrets. We hear the brother and sister's stories. We have this whole terrifying thing that starts to kind of play out. And it was so engaging. It was so captivating. I wrote at the end, it had me shook with the saw. So there's a moment with a saw. I'm not going to spoil anything. Left me shooketh. I remember because it sucked me in so much that I listened to it that night. Like, I finished listening to it that night. I didn't stop. I had to know. And so I'm listening it after supper. I go in the bath. I'm listening to it in the bath. I'm getting out of the bath. I'm drying myself off, and the saw part comes on, and I just remember looking at myself in the mirror like, what is happening? It was so good. I enjoyed the crap out of this book. It was engaging and fun, and it goes through the stages of grief. There's this really good underlying story that's there. I told you I'm going to hype it up more than I think it needs to be hyped up, but for me, it was a spectacular read and my favorite so far. Which made it very disappointing to go into another Grady Hendrix and hate it. My Best Friend's Exorcism. So I've been having this book for a while. I didn't bring any of my books in, so I'll just have the pictures. I've been having this book for a while. I had started reading it. It seemed super fun. I love the vibe, the whole 80s, and I just liked it. I was like, this is going to be so great. I didn't like it. And then I watched the show, and I really didn't like that. I'm sorry, I was so disappointed. In the book, in the little mini series that they have, I just didn't like it. I wanted to. I loved the setting. I loved the concept. I literally wrote, not so great, movie even worse. Didn't feel the horror nor the deep possessions, which I didn't like. It seemed very surface level. I thought it may have been funny even, not really. Maybe just the Lemon Bros. I don't know what that means because I don't remember. So basically this is a girl and her friend get kind of lost in the woods, and weird things start to happen. There's possession involved. Obviously there's an exorcism. It was really disappointing. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't enjoy this one. It just wasn't for me. I guess maybe because I'm a huge fan of possessions and exorcisms. I love The Exorcist. I've read a bunch of books, I really like this subject. I just really didn't feel it, and I really wanted to feel it. Meh. Okay. But the next one I loved because I read it and then listened to it. I read it in one day, then I got the audiobook, and then I listened to it the next day because I enjoyed the hell out of this little book too. This one I loved because of the atmosphere. I love this kind of gothic horror. This is called Victorian Psycho. This is by Virginia Feito. I'm not sure how to say that. It was such a good read. I had it pegged early on, but the Gothic Victorian vibes kept me glued to the pages, is what I said. So we have a governess that comes in to teach these little Victorian children. But as soon as she gets there, like, there's something kind of off. Like, because she's, like, our main narrator, like, we already know there's something weird. Like, that only gross. This is a sometimes brutal little book. But we start getting backstories. We start understanding what's going on-ish. But things really start to heighten. Things are going wrong. There are... I don't want to give it away. She's nuts. But then the family decides, even though they kind of figure out that she's a little nuts at this point, it's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. So we're going to keep you on. We're going to have this extended Christmas party, but when that's done, you gotta go. Maybe don't tell someone that's kind of in a weird space. Don't give them a timeline, maybe. Just let them go at that point. Because they have this Christmas thing and shit gets real. There's a great twist. Very fun ending. Really great atmosphere. Very uneasy, very gross, very strange. I loved this little book. Loved it. So, from there, I went into the Mayfair Witches. So, I had thrifted this Mayfair Witch trilogy way back in the Gap. I've had it forever. I read The Witching Hour. That was the first book that I read. And I stopped. Like, out of the three, it's the only book I read, is what I meant. So, I remember loving it. I don't know why I never went on to the other books. I got them later, and I think I just didn't go back to it. I wanted to maybe reread it. But they've sat and sat and sat. So I decided to go back in there. So I reread The Witching Hour, and it was so much better than I remember. And I remember it being so good. So the thing about the Mayfair Witches is that we are following this family. Present day, 90s-ish. A modern version, and we are learning the history. And in the first one, we meet Rowan, the current matriarch, I guess you would say, or whatever, of the Mayfair Witches. I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, there's more than one book. I mean, we obviously know, whatever. It's not really a spoiler, is what I'm saying. We have her, which we are following in the present day, and her kind of figuring out what this means, what this is, what's happening. We have Michael, who has this near-death experience. He was drowning. Rowan ended up saving him. When he wakes up, he's got magic touch, where he can touch and see things and, stuff like that. So weird stuff's been happening with him. They link up. Note that they have similarities and things back in New Orleans because they are in San Francisco, which then ties them into the whole Mayfair Witch story, and things unfold from there. The history gets me every time. It's my favorite part of this whole trilogy. It's the best parts of the book. I'm going to be honest, through The Witching Hour, I read Lasher and then Taltos, and you can keep all the modern stuff. It's the history that does it for me. Matter of fact, so Lasher, we start to meet other members of the Mayfair family, Mona in specific, who then kind of becomes our main girl in the last 2 books, because Rowan is in and out. Again, I'm not going to spoil. Rowan is in and out. So we have Mona that we're kind of taking a look at. Very problematic. Very problematic. But we're dealing with the Mayfair witches, and we already know the history. So Mona's story, it kind of oohs me out. I think she's a fascinating character. Quite interesting. But her storyline, not a fan. Not a huge fan. Lasher, we get to learn Julian's story, which is one of the only male kind of witches, true male witches within the Mayfair line, because it's usually always a woman. So we get to learn that backstory. And then in the last one, we really hear about the main crux of why the Mayfair witches are so important and so sought after, because there's also this secret society that goes in there. We learn about the entity that surrounds them. So we know about the entity from Jump, obviously. We go through the Witching Hour, Lasher, and Talentos. It is all about the entity, but we really get to know who the entity is and what it is in the last book. Last book was my least favorite. But I did enjoy, again, I enjoyed the history. I loved the history of the Mayfair witches more so than the current story of the Mayfair witches. Although I liked everything tying together, I really enjoyed the backstory. So this whole series was fantastic. I know she wrote more in some of the Vampire Chronicles. I think some of the Mayfair witches show up, but I didn't go that far. I just read the main trilogy, and I really enjoyed it, but I much rather the history than the story after it got to a certain point. But definitely worth a read. Definitely worth a read. Then I read another kind of gothic horror that was super fun. It was a very short book. I got through it rather quickly. I love a good unreliable narrator, and that's what we have in The Silent Companions. This is by Laura Purcell. So we have Elsie. But she is, I don't know, the more time goes along, she is quite unreliable. We are back and forth between a hospital, St. Joseph's Hospital in 1865, and then we go back to the 1600s. We're kind of, everything kind of surrounds this house. She married into this family, but her husband dies, and the thing is she's kind of caught at this house by herself now. She's like the owner, basically. She's the master, the mistress of the house, I guess. And we go from there to after a fire has occurred, apparently, in the house. And then back to the origins of the household. Because there are these little figures, wooden figures, that are all over the house, and we kind of learn where they come from the 1600s, to what's going on with them possibly in the 1800s. I still don't know what really happened here, but it was so fun. A lot of people that I heard speaking about this in all of the stuff that I watched thought it was like super, super scary. I found it wasn't about the scariness. It was about the uncertainty of what was really happening. That was the most fun. And the setting, of course, was just fantastic. I loved the back and forth. We had diaries that we were reading. We had what was going on at the time, quote unquote, and then in the future at this hospital. So like we had all these elements kind of working together, and it was super fun. It was super fun. Even at the end, I really feel like you still don't know what to believe. I liked it. Okay. Last two. So the last two were super fun reads, I'm not gonna lie. I read What the Hell Did I Just Read by Jason Pargin? It was strange, but in the best way. It didn't make any sense, but in the best way. So I got sucked into this book. I found it at the library. I was like, why not? Didn't realize that it was part of a series. I'm almost finished the first book in the series, which is called John Dies at the End. But it definitely was one that I could pick up and just read. I didn't have to read anything before it to know where I was or what was going on. I guess the best way I could describe it was sort of Supernatural-esque, if you guys have ever seen Supernatural. It kind of gave me those vibes, only like way more science fiction than paranormal. I think that's kind of the best way to describe it. The narrative voices were very interesting because we hear from, like, we have a main narrator, but he's also taking commentary from the other people in there. So we have Dave and John and Amy. And so we get their own perspectives, but also all kind of through Dave in a way. It's a really cool way of writing. I really enjoyed the narrative. I wrote something right here. I love the bizarre but hooking storyline that frankly doesn't end or clear up shit. So yeah, it would, like, okay, so it was difficult to follow in some places, but like, it didn't really matter. Like, you could still know, you still understood absolutely what was happening. You still got the whole gist of everything. But nothing ever really clears up because this is kind of like a town of just weird stuff going on. So you're kind of thrust into this, and it was fun. So, like, I did pop in some science fiction so far this year, which I normally don't have too much of. This was supposed to be in the horror genre, but it definitely is more like science fiction, comedic horror, if I had to describe it. So this was just a fun read. It was fun. I'm reading the first one, which is even more strange, I think. We'll see. That'll be on the next list. The last one, this last one is so good. So this is The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, and it is exactly what you think it is. This was so much fun. This is another kind of unreliable narrator. It had me from the first page. Like, it was fast-paced. It was shocking. It was gory and gruesome and gross in some parts. I loved every minute of it because, like, it did not give you a chance really to catch your breath. You're just like, how are you spiraling? Anyway, so this is a story about Jae-hwan and her sister. They're an Asian family. The father has left. The mother is having a really rough time with it, but she gets this white boyfriend. And things kind of shift and change from there. Jae-hwan meets this guy who, I hated him, honestly. Even from jump, I was like, this dude is sketch, right? He played himself off to be this, like, really cool, nice guy. Very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Kind of really speaks, this whole book kind of speaks a lot to the fetishizing of Asian women. And just, like, problematic frickin' people. But where the eyes come in, we go through those two storylines, because Jae-hwan is in college. And then we kind of see the thing going on at her home life with her mom and this new guy, and then her school life with this girl that she's kind of really infatuated with, and this guy that's kind of shady from jump. And the eyes come in when her mom makes this, like, traditional, was it Korean? Oh my god, I can't remember. Did I say? I didn't say, so I can't remember. Anyway, this dish with a full fish, and she eats the eyes, and then she gets Jae-hwan to eat the eyes, and she becomes obsessed. She loved the experience, okay? And the thing is, her mom's new boyfriend has these bright blue eyes. And she becomes obsessed with them. Among other blue-eyed peeps. And things just start to get real weird. Real gross. And then bonkers. And a really good ending. I really enjoyed this one. This one was a fun, fast-paced, easy read. And it just hit all my favorite marks when it comes to horror. And it was so much fun. Like, grotesque horror. And so it was a great, gross read. I would definitely recommend. I would definitely give this one like 4.5 stars. It just hit all the boxes. So yeah, that's it. I know we've been here forever. I'm sorry, guys. But I hope you enjoyed this little kind of reminisce, halfway, mid-year kind of review. And yeah, we'll be back with so much more. We still got a whole another half of a year to get through, and all kinds of stuff to mess around with, to read, to play with, and we will go through it all at the end of the year as well. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back very soon. I'm sending you all my love. Mwah. Later, Gators.